come back and view it. And you can also let others know who may have missed out on today's event so they can come back and watch it as well. So thank you and welcome to our Tejano virtual events. Thank you all for coming. Today we're going to have a great presentation for you. We are joined by Katy Valtierra Pinon, who is a librarian at the Valle Verde campus. She's going to be talking to us today about bibliotherapy. So please get comfortable, mute your mics, and if you have any questions, please place them in the chat box or raise your hand. I'm also going to be providing a link in the chat box for you to get Tejano passport points for attending this workshop. So thank you again for being here today, and Ms. Pinon, you can begin whenever you're ready.
Hello, everybody. My name, like she said, is Katy Valtierra Piñon. I am a librarian here at Valle Verde, and I just want to thank you for joining us. I have a couple things that I have to share with you, but the first thing I'm going to do is share a YouTube 1-minute video. It's not going to take a long time. What happened is I tried to incorporate it into I tried to incorporate it into my presentation and it became a little bit of a hassle. So I'm going to share my screen with you. And after that 1-minute presentation, then I'll continue. I just want you to see this, and what it is our library display for June. I'm sorry, for July. So I'll go ahead and play that. Here we go. I don't know what just happened, but that's okay. I will continue. Let me see if it'll go back. Well, let's play it. It's rendering it. Go. Anyway, I'm going to stop it, even though it's at 41 seconds, because the rest of the information that I have for you is big. You cannot hear any volume?
We hear you, Katy.
You did not hear any volume on that? Could you
Not
hear
on
the
the
volume?
video. We can hear you speaking.
Oh. Okay, you know what? Then I'm just going to go to my PowerPoint and
Okay.
and I'll
We
get
were
started
late
with that.
anyways.
What you did see was really what? You were late anyways. Okay. Well, I did it for Manny, everybody. We have to accommodate our everybody. But here is a really quick 13-minute. I did record myself. If it doesn't show up, it's okay. I can go on without the recording. But let me start from the beginning. Please alert me. Yeah, the video was narrated. Hold on. So let's try from the beginning, see what happens.
There you go. We missed half of it anyways.
Okay, so apparently I'm having problems with my volume, so I am going to just go with what I have. It's no big deal. Here, let me begin. Thank you, everybody. Can you hear me now, though? Okay, I
Yes.
had pre-recorded some of this, so you'll see my face at the bottom of the screen. I'll go ahead and present it either way. So let me begin, and you can hear me now, correct? Yes. All
Yes,
right,
got it.
let's get it started. So the first thing is I did create a pamphlet for the library. You saw the life-size um, poster I created, and it's just to get people's attention. We're creatures of habit, and sometimes we only have a couple of minutes, I'm sorry, a couple of seconds to get your attention. So this big poster is really just for that. It's an attention getter, and it promotes the bibliotherapy at the library as the art of using books to aid people with issues they are facing. And then, can you hear that?
Only you, Kathy.
You can't hear that. Okay. So, Kristen, can I ask you for a favor?
Sure. Sure. Sure.
Can you upload the PowerPoint? Well, let me try.
I
I'm
have it for
sorry.
you right here.
Okay, I'll do that because this isn't working. And so always have plan B, everybody, plan B. And plan C. Here it is. Thank you, Kristen. So my presentation, really, the first part of it was supposed to be a video. I was narrating it, and what I was telling you is that the Bibliotherapy Library has a collection of books. What we try to do is a stress relief event, usually, typically in July, and we focus on several things. We've had people come in from, I'm not sure what department, where they do the yoga and just kind of relief you, stress relief. And our part in the library is to try and bring all those services together. In this part of the presentation, it's simply bibliotherapy and how books can, how the art of using books to aid people with issues we are facing. And you know, you mentioned, you notice I mentioned we, because we all have issues at one time or another, small or big. How do we use bibliotherapy in your daily reference work? I'll tell you in a minute, in your reference interview. Okay, what you can do is they're not always going to ask you a question, most of the students, to answer Adrian's question. That is an excellent question. Not everybody's going to come and tell you, well, I'm stressing out, life is getting stressful, or I'm burnt out, or how do I balance life with family, or I don't know how to tell my child about the grieving process, or what have you. But what you can do is be familiar with your library collection so that you could do something similar to this. For example, this is one of my very favorite books, and it's Trevor Noah, Born a Crime. It's absolutely amazing. So maybe somebody who's looking for something where they want to be able to connect with somebody that has struggled in their life. And in this case, I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he does, he's incredibly funny. And I'm trying to find the Daily Show. I'm not sure what the show is, but yes, Born a Crime is amazing. So my next, and inside was embedded a video which you all didn't have the opportunity to see. Here's my next slide, and this is another one of my favorite. If you can't see it, I'm going to just go up a little bit, and here you go. How many of you have read The 5 People You Meet in Heaven or anything by Mitch Albom? Anybody? He is an excellent writer. On this one, Eddie dies and he goes to heaven. He was the park maintenance man at Ruby Point Park. And he meets 5 people in heaven, each with their story that they share with him. A secret is revealed. He learns a lesson. And in the end of the book, what Eddie finds out is what his real purpose in life was. How do we use to increase library circulation numbers? What we could do is promote maybe a book. In this case, what we're trying to do is promote all books that relate to some type of something that will help people. Love them. Finding Chica was beautiful. Oh, okay. So this is our library display, and I didn't want to pull out the whole library, but I did pull out all the books that you see on the bookshelf. And what we do is we promote those books and we say, okay, they're available, and this is what we're doing today. Or I'm sorry, the month. And what, if you can see, let me stress it up a little bit better. What I did was a life-size pamphlet to stress on these. Sometimes we do need stress relief. Sometimes there's students that are struggling because a lot of our students are coming from high school, directly from high school. Yes, Manny?
We only see your face. Were you intending to show images or slides?
No, I'm just
Just the
talking.
face.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yeah, we see your
Well,
face.
we tried the other one because I did pre-record some stuff in each one. For those of you who don't know, we were having technical difficulties. So I'm just going to present it as a PowerPoint with anybody having questions, or if you want to interject, please do so. But a lot of our students, like I was saying, they do find it hard to survive in a new school environment. And sometimes I'll notice that not with all students, but sometimes some students have even a bigger pressure because they're really used to their teachers in high school holding their hand. I'm sorry, I was there and I did the hand holding. But then they come to college and then they realize, what do I do? So sometimes they just need a little inspiration to tell them that they can balance out their home life with their school life. And then avoiding burnout. That's a big category. Some of us just work and work and work until really there's nothing left for us to give. I've done that in the past. I no longer do it, but I used to do that. I would burn myself out. Word of advice, don't do it. And then teens and stress, some of us have students who that we see they're stressing out. And then there's the categories that I'm reading are in teal green. And then stories about life, friends, family, and lessons learned. That one. And then there's overcoming obstacles in life. Again, Trevor Noah. Here, let me see. I think I moved my camera. Trevor Noah. Another one I really like is the Sonia Sotomayor story. She is the first Hispanic Supreme Court to be nominated to the Supreme Court justice to be serving. So those are really good stories. Approaches to living a good life, finding happiness, life advice, mental health, and the power of positive thinking. Now, the bullets that you see on there are actual books that I went ahead and pulled out with those categories in mind, and they are the books that are also displayed here and available for checkout. So bibliotherapy, can I ask, I'm going to ask a really quick question of you so it could be more interactive. How many of you have grabbed a book and just felt, okay, I'm not alone? And if so, can you share a little bit with us in terms of how it transformed you as far as, again, what I put up there, you're not alone. Would anybody like to share? Yes? No? Okay. I'll
participate with you, Kati.
Thank you, Manny. I knew you would.
I'm reading right now a book called Andale Prieta by our very own Yasmin Ramirez. And it's a tremendous book. Everyone should read it. I encourage everyone here to read it. But I didn't speak up because she's actually giving the opposite perspective as a growing young woman in El Paso. And her experiences with an absentee father and all kinds of issues.
But you see,
yes,
that's interesting, Manny. You should say that because those struggles are what literature does for us, is we can relate. Maybe there's somebody out there, I didn't have an absentee father, but maybe somebody out there can relate to her having that absentee father and maybe how she overcame it. That's the
Right,
actual purpose.
right, right. I see it from the other perspective, and every single event, every chapter, all I in my head, I'm like almost writing the other perspective of how things are from a guy's view, you know, from a father and from an El Paso and growing up here. Anyways, I encourage everyone
That's,
to read it. It's a great book.
thank you. So, where did the term come from? The term is made up. I'm reading the comments as I speak to you, but the term bibliotherapy is made up of two words, biblio, originating from the Greek word biblos, which means book, and therapy, referring to psychological help. Simply stated, bibliotherapy can be defined as the use of books to help people solve problems. And that's a term, or the definition I took from Webster's dictionary, and it defines it as guidance in a solution of personal problems through reading. And then next slide. If anybody wants to interrupt at any point, you're welcome to. You're not interrupting, by the way, interject. So back to bibliotherapy, it is, again, what I put on the pamphlet. It is the art of using literature to help us, to help people with issues that we're facing. This is an option that is often adapted to use to supplement, and I want to really emphasize the word supplement, other types of therapy. Yes, it's helpful, but clearly if you have somebody who's suicidal, that's out of our realm. What I'm talking about here is what professionals do, is maybe they'll find a book that deals, like, for example, the 13 Reasons Why. I would not recommend it to a student who's contemplating suicide, because I'm not trained for that. So bibliotherapy really is you embracing the literature that can be a supplement to other types of therapy for those people who need that supplement. And then for the rest, or for others who can just relate to stories and become stronger as a result, it's awesome. So targeted bibliotherapy can be used for the following issues: emotional, for example, isolation, meaninglessness, death, dying. That is a very tough topic. My mom's been gone for, 2014, and every day I wake up with the same thought: I want to be with you. But no, I'm not in any way emotional or anything. But it does help to read where other people are going through those same ideas, like what happens when someone dies. And then mental health, anxiety, depression, eating disorder, substance abuse, gambling addiction, etc. But the definition from Merriam-Webster's Medical Dictionary is it's the use of selected reading materials as therapeutic, I hope I pronounced the next word right, adjuvants in medicine and in psychiatry. So it's a guidance in the solution of personal problems through direct reading. So the content really here is important. Next, it is really, really long, so I'll just tell you basically, over the years, it has changed. Bibliotherapy, it was the information guide. I'm going to read it. Well-being and solace can be found through reading. So the term bibliotherapy originated in 1916, but the practice of bibliotherapy has been practiced for ages. In fact, in ancient times, books were thought to have medicinal purposes. Libraries, including those of Alexandria and Thebes, had the phrase "medicine for the soul" carved over the library entrance. Later, the association between health and books was used by hospitals and mental health professionals to help patients cope with struggling mental health issues. By providing literature related to the patient and their struggle, it is believed It says there was, but it is believed that the patient can benefit by connecting and learning coping skills. Today, the term bibliotherapy continues to be used by medical health professionals, social workers, teachers, librarians, as well as other professionals who acknowledge the many benefits that literature has to supporting and sustaining good mental health. I will take a quick break and ask you if you have any questions pertaining to this, or maybe if you knew a little bit about this, or if you've actually had the opportunity to what Adrian's question was how do you offer a book to someone? Well, I know I was teaching K through sixth, and I was a librarian there, and one of the things I did, instead of give it to one student, what I would do is do it during reading time. And what I did was I read a book called Enemy Pie, and the kids loved it. What it was it just made light of a situation and how you could really have make friends even when you think they're your enemies or you're being bullied or what have you. But you can take that literature and present it in a situation where students can do that. Of course, we're not in that. We're not with public schools right now, so that may not work for you. For instructors, what I do recommend is something I am so proud of. We have instructors here in the English department that have students coming in, and they'll ask us, can you give me information that will, or articles based on, let's say, the bluest eye. One of our instructors does that, and all of the questions promote racism, how you see yourself, how people treat you. So it really is bringing that awareness, how literature can reach with the right content. It can be very empowering. And here are some of the benefits. For you that are librarians out there, you have had professors, am I correct, where they have given assignments that are very much difficult topics, where the students have to dig deep and find literature that supports what they believe to be true based on the reading. Does anybody have anything to add to that? No? Okay. So, yes. Anyway, so people realize that they're not alone, and that was really what I wanted to emphasize on, is a lot of times we feel like we're alone. But the thing is that sometimes the problem you're facing, it is universal. But once you realize that there's some literature that can give you that insight, it does provide us with comfort, and it legitimizes our feelings and our thoughts. Because again, like I was telling you earlier, you don't have to feel like you're alone. It promotes problem solving. It increases compassion, enhances self-awareness. It helps you develop an empathetic understanding. It encourages effective social behavior. It clarifies values, instills cultural identity, instills ethnic pride. And I could go on, but the last bullet is what really, what it really means is you need to, it helps connect the reader to emotional experience and situations, and to have him understand or her understand that problem that we are facing or they are facing, it's really, they're not alone. So on this one, there are 3 stages. Actually, I read a couple of articles, and some of the stages were actually in 4, but I just narrowed it down to 3. Again, we're not counselors, but we are in the position to offer literature to students, especially those that are doing, they're doing assignments that deal with finding information on maybe social injustice or racism or what have you. And they are looking for that kind of information. So here are the 3 stages of bibliotherapy, and that is, again, we're not We are not counselors, but we do benefit from knowing what those stages are. First of all, it's the identification. People are identified based on their needs and desired therapeutic content. So if my need is I'm going through the grieving process, or somebody died, or or death, then you need to match those needs. Catharsis, it matches those needs to the reading materials. And then it is you need to take into account a person's age, sex, their race, their reading level, and the nature of the themes also plays a role. In this case, I pulled this book that I'm pretty sure Debbie ordered, because she's done a wonderful job of our juvenile collection. And this book is called Unspeakable: The Tulsa Race Massacre. And this one is written for younger students, but it does touch on topics that are very, very difficult to explain to younger students. And this one is in regard to the early 1900s. And you may or may not be aware, but there was a thriving African American community. And what happened in 2 days, which was May 31st and June 1st of 1921, is that a mob armed of armed white Tulsans attacked Greenwood. They looted homes and businesses. They burned them to the ground as the black families fled. This is written so that students, or like I said, you need to take their age appropriate. How appropriate is this for a child who's 8, 9, that wants to know about that and what happened, and how literally it's one of the worst incidents of racial violence in the United States. So this is perfect for a child that's maybe 8 years old, who doesn't understand the racial tension in society today. So that's where you take those into account, their age, sex, race, and all that. And then insight is effectiveness is based on how well the individual responds to bibliotherapy. And I put in addition to, and I put other, but what I meant to put there is, if you'll notice, I have bibliotherapy on here. I was going to open it so that you could see what I meant by that, but I was having technical difficulties. So I'll go ahead and just tell you a little bit about it. It's based on how well an individual responds to that and other types of therapy. Okay, so moving on. And here's one. Diana says, I lived in Tulsa and went to, oh, okay, I can't see that. We could go back one. I'm going to go back one. Oh, this is the one. Would anybody like to share with me what you were saying about the Tulsa? Diana says she lived in Tulsa and went to talks about the 1921 race riot and got to meet a survivor. Oh my God, can you tell us a little bit about that? Diana? Okay, we must remember history.
I'm sorry, I don't know if you can hear me. My headphones stopped working. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, we can hear you. Thank you, Diana.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Yeah, it was incredible because it was planned. It was like to keep because the black community was thriving in Tulsa. They had several newspapers. They had, everything was owned by blacks. It was the movie theaters, the businesses, everything. They had their own homes. And so they said it was because of an incident in an elevator that a black man tripped and touched a white elevator operator, but that was just the excuse because it was premeditated. They cut the telegraph wire so they couldn't ask for help outside of Tulsa. Tulsa is known for its aeronautics. They were early adopters of the airplane, and so they literally firebombed the neighborhoods. They walked through and shot people as they tried to come out of the homes to find out what was happening, and then looted the homes and then set them on fire. There were so many bodies, they laid them up and paved roads over them, so there are now no real estimates on how many died, and there's no way for families to try to figure out where their loved ones ended up. It was
Thank you. Thank
So
you so
heartwarming.
much. But I'm going to interject and tell you that according to this book, that is a children's book, it says that more than 300 people were killed and more than 8,000 were left homeless.
It was a lot more than 300 that were killed.
I'll bet. I'll bet it was. But if you take if you're trying to teach about injustices in society and you're trying to teach it to a child, this is an excellent book. Thank you for that, Diana. Okay, so here is one of my, I cannot find the copyright for this image. So I didn't share it with everybody, right? But I loved it so much, I had to. So Words on Pages reaches in so many ways. And is there help for me? Well, I know that many of us are librarians on here. And yeah, we tend to forget that reading is therapeutic for us as well. So don't forget to grab a book and read for yourselves. And then here is one of my favorite things that I did last semester. We formed a book club, and my colleague Adrian Morales, who's also a librarian, is on here. He helped me. And this is something we can do as librarians, is we can promote book clubs. And what happens is students identify with other students and discuss common issues. That's what Adrian and I found when we had our book talks with them all last semester. And it allows for open discussion on various topics. They can be controversial, universal, current issues. But the important thing is it gives students an opportunity to have a voice. And we did that in October. Okay, according to Adrian, I can't see it, but I'm going to look at it right now after I read this. But themes that we used, the first theme that we used was Hispanic heritage. And I really liked it because it gave all of our participants, I think with the exception of one, they were all Hispanic, so they were able to relate to the themes, and they were able to tell us how they felt the characters or what their actions were and how it related to society today. And also it gave them the ability to discuss how it relates to their personal views. For as long as I can remember, I've always sponsored book clubs. This semester I did not, because we didn't have a turnout. With COVID being what it's been, it's really changes the dynamics of a book club. Book club really is to be there for one another and to share experiences. Very hard to do in a virtual setting. But in time, I hope to do this again. And then these are my sources. And, oh, Manny, yeah. Manny was saying that his faltered too. Very difficult thing to do when you're not having that. The thing about book clubs that I've always liked is pretty much that we were able to talk and sit there and discuss and talk about it. It is a human, it says, Rebecca, you might retake the idea of a human book club. Oh, that's right. Thank you. I think there's a library somewhere, Rebecca, if you'd like to tell us about it, but I think people can rent, I think it's Rent a Human in Canada. Can you tell us a little bit about that? If you have a microphone, if not, Denmark too. I think they can rent a human and talk to them. Right now with COVID, I don't see that happening, but that is a very interesting concept. You don't have a mic. Right, they do talk about they talk about their experiences to other people that I wish I had it for you, but I'm having, again, technical issues, which is why I'm running a little short on this. I am going to open it up for discussion. Seniors, I think it helps them too. Human library, there you go, that's what it is. Okay, the human library, I don't know if any of you have heard of it, but they get to check out a human. And I'm, not kidding you, it's worked out well. I've seen really good reviews on that. Let me talk to you a little bit about another book. This is another book from our juvenile collection. Not all the themes have to be morbid. Some of the themes can be light. For example, this one's called Abraza tu miedo, or hug your fear, or embrace your fear. And this author, what he did, it's a child's book, and what it is she loves her stuffed animals. Her name is Emma, and what he does is he tells Emma in this book that all their stuffed animals want to help her, and they all have fears. So I hope you know Spanish. It says, Emma tiene miedo de dormir sola. Sus animales de peluche quieren ayudarla, pero todos le temen a algo. So again, the concept here is that whatever you're feeling, you're not alone. So, ¿cómo lograr que la niña no sienta temor si sus mejores amigos son unos miedosos? So it's got a little bit of humor in it. Not everything has to be dark or light like this. There's books for everyone. I'm going to open up for discussion as far as if there's for me, the book that got me reading and got me interested, and I didn't know the impact it was going to have for me later in life. But this is a book for 8th graders, I think 6th to 8th graders, and it's called Flowers for Algernon. Have you heard of that one? Anybody?
Heard of it, yes.
Okay, you have heard of it? Okay, so Flowers for Algernon is about a person that has a mental disability. Only he works, he's fully functional. I read this in 8th grade. I haven't picked it up since, but I can tell you that's how much of an impact it had on me, because it made me more empathetic toward people who had a disability. This Charlie is his name. He gets again, I read it in 8th grade, so my memory's a little off, but he becomes part of an experiment where he has become incredibly intelligent. His intelligence grows and grows and continues to grow to the point where he knows that at first he thought all the people that were laughing, they were laughing with him. And when he becomes more intelligent, he realizes they were laughing at him. And that to me was the saddest part of that book, where I realized, oh dear Lord, and at some point he realizes he was happier not knowing what he knew. But anyway, that is for again, a lower level. But it does, the topic being that people are people regardless of their intellect, regardless of their ability or disability. I think what it does is teaches us as humans that we need to be empathetic. Anyway, that is I'm sorry it's not an hour long, but again, based on the fact that I had some technical difficulties, it really turned my presentation a little bit different. So anybody have any question? What I'm going to do is I'm going to go with some of the comments. So the human library, it says, I heard of checking out a person. I'm going to start with Diana. It says, I heard of checking out a person at a library to learn about their experiences like the Holocaust, sorry. Yes, Diana, and one just hears them without asking questions or judging them. Oh, I didn't know you just hear them. You can't ask them anything? They just talk to you? They're in Denmark. No, okay. The librarian who presented the idea was in 2019. BRLA was from Canada. Thank you, Rebecca. Okay, this is a great idea here somewhere. We should do something like that. I like that. So no, the person just listens. I need to look into that because that might be a really good idea after COVID, I hope. So does anybody have any questions as far as how we can do, well, not so much push a book onto someone, but realize that literature is powerful. Oh, that's true. You can't ask questions to a book. Thank you for that. So I'm guessing, if I'm correct, the human person that you check out, the human library, it'll tell you what you're checking out, right? To borrow a person and learn their story. Okay. Well, Christian, I'm gonna I'm gonna say that I'll go with the comments now, but that's the end of my presentation.
Well, that's awesome. I think we can communicate a lot through books. So is there a way we can share? You said you were going to be able to share that pamphlet of books that you recommend for different topics?
Well, what I do have, let me see if it's on here. Hold on. So this is a topics, what you'd have to do maybe. Let me see, here it is.
If I can
See
offer
that?
a suggestion real quick.
Yes.
Everyone at the very top of your screen, oh, it goes off the arrow, but in the top right corner, there's a box with an arrow in it. If you click it, you can download her presentation. And so you can go right there, you can click that box with an arrow, and then you'll download what she has on the screen right now, and you can use it.
Well, that's awesome.
Thank you.
You all will get a copy of all these books for different topics.
So these are the books that are currently at our library and are actually off the shelves because we put it on our books on our bookshelf. Can you all see the screen where it says topics?
Yes, the lettering is
Okay.
too small, but we can download it. It worked for me really cool, like Patricia said, and you get all.
But then if I get it larger, I think you have to do it on your own screen, right?
Yeah, you can use the plus and minus up in the top left, or like she said, on the top right, download it, and you'll be able to see it on your own computer.
Yes, it's 13 pages if you download it.
Well, I wish I had been able to share my what I did as a video. I wasn't able to, but it still worked out. And I hope you all learned something from this, or maybe not learn something, but take something with you from this.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. And we can also help others with this as well by sharing books with them. So thank you so much, Kathy. This was a new topic for me, and I really did enjoy it. So thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
And I want to also thank everyone for coming today. I have been putting the link in the chat box for the Tejano points. I'll put it again. So you can go to the Tejano Passport page and register to get a medallion by attending different events through the college and earning Tejano Passport points. Next week, we are going to have a workshop on Friday again at 1 p.m. and it's going to be our culinary arts department. So tune in to see something delicious and learn some new things about cooking. So hope you all have a great weekend and thank you all for coming.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.